Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode. I'm very excited to have my dear friend Karen Kay here today. Welcome, Karen. Welcome back. Thank you for
Thank
being
you
here.
so much, Shireen. Oh, I'm so happy to be with you again. It feels like it's been forever.
It actually was a couple of months ago. We were in Glastonbury at the same time, and I attended yours and Trisha's beautiful
Yeah,
workshop with the fairies, and I had beautiful experiences for the first time with the fairies as well, although we're surrounded here in Sweden by these beautiful forests and fairy magic. And I'm really excited that you're back on the podcast. It's the second time. And now you have this beautiful Manifesting with the Fairies deck oracle. It's out and it's so
thank you.
beautiful.
I've got it here.
Congratulations. Ah, yeah, I just love it. And I'm actually daily getting your readings with the deck, with the cards, and they're really encouraging and feel so uplifting. So, but maybe I'm curious because I asked another guest this question, just what is a question just about what type of morning ritual or routine is important for you right now at this
Mm.
time.
Yeah, and I kind of remember you asking me this last time, and it hasn't really changed too much. So my morning ritual, the thing that I do every single day is as soon as I am conscious, as soon as I wake up, I usually say thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so grateful to be alive, awake, healthy, in a body, able to follow my passions, my dreams, and serve people in the process. So literally every day when I wake up, I feel that and I say that. So that's the thing that I do every single day.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way of waking up. I try to also do that in the evening, actually, when I fall asleep, instead of thinking about everything, like just being grateful, and it really helps the sleep state. But it's great to start like that, start the day
Yeah.
with gratitude in your heart. So thank you.
Yeah, it really sets the tone of the day, and whatever happens, we're positive people, and we do as much positivity things as we can. That doesn't really make sense, but we try to live a positive life,
Yeah.
both yourself and me. And but life still happens,
Mm.
challenges still come, all of these things come, and it's about being grateful for everything, including the challenges, which is the most challenging thing to do, to be grateful for the challenges. Like last year, it doesn't even feels like years ago, but last year I broke my wrist, and the first bone that I'd ever broken in my whole life. And it really stopped me doing a lot of things, but it also made me surrender to the help from my son and his partner, and just friends and people were just coming forward to support me and offer help to me. And I'm a very independent person,
Mm.
and it was quite challenging for me to let go and surrender to that help, and also to be in this very, very vulnerable position of, it was my right hand. I was actually in the middle of writing my new deck as well, so I
Mm.
had to be super creative. And I found this thing on the phone where you can speak into the phone and then it transcribes it into text. And we always find a way, don't we? But looking back, it feels like it was ages ago, but I am so grateful that that happened. And you might think, well, that's a funny thing to be grateful for. But the fact that I had the medical help to, do the surgery on my wrist, because I needed surgery,
Mm.
and I was grateful to them. And even during the surgery, I was praying for them all and
Mm.
asking for the guides and ancestors to come forward and support that. And just, I don't know, I am grateful for everything, all the experiences, because they've helped to create the me that I am now.
Mm.
So I've learned to surrender a little bit more, to delegate more, and to just be grateful for everything where we are, because we both know that in the world there are situations where people are really, really suffering. and sometimes we can feel really helpless about that. And it's not sticking your head in the sand, like if you're enjoying your life and living, raising your vibration, because we're still aware of the things that are going on in life. And it's just grateful that I am in this position where I can help others and kind of raise my vibration as much as possible and put that out into the world.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you and your heart, and it's extremely genuine what you're saying. I know that you live what you speak about, and just being around you, I can feel that. And you're such a loving person, and everything that you practice within you is felt around you. That's why I was like instantly drawn to you and your work, and it just, yeah, it's so beautiful. And actually, I really love that you brought up having that practice within the healthcare setting, and those things that we find like it's not the most fun places to be in life. And we have to bringing that energy in, it really empowers you if you're going through something where you don't have control or have any, you have to put surrender into someone else's hands. I've also used it a lot in healthcare settings, and for the nurses and doctors and everyone who bless us also with their support. So I'm really happy that, yeah, this year has been a different year for you, and so much has happened. And I'm really curious about manifesting with the fairies, and how did that come about for you? How did you connect with that energy for this deck?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you. So, as you know, I've got two other decks: Oracle of the Fairies, which is my first, I refer to as my first fairy baby, which was born in 2019. And then I was going through quite a challenging time in my life emotionally, and then I had to write my messages from the Mermaids deck, which is a very healing, deep, diving deep kind of a deck. So all the decks, I will say I have lived and am living them. So it's not just like, oh, I'm going to write about this. And it's actually something that I'm personally living and experiencing. So coming through the last decks has been a huge healing journey for me. And then I find myself in this place where I can play, I can manifest, I can have fun again in my life. I've got kind of just a different energy about me. And I know a lot of my friends have noticed that as well, because I feel free of some of the emotional and physical challenges that I've had. So I'm in this place of gratitude and thinking, well, what do I want to manifest in this world, in my life? And yes, there are certain things that I want to manifest, like I do need to get a new home and I needed a new car and these different things, but also it's about internally manifesting calmness, peace, health, vitality, joy, laughter, playfulness, all of these things. So it doesn't have to be a physical manifestation, because fairies are not little genies that we can rub the bottle and say, I want this and this. I mean, we can say that and we might get something. It might not always be what we're asking for exactly, but we can work with them to co-create different situations and things in our life, because material things are necessary as well. We're in a material world, I think, or I feel, as long as we're asking for something from your heart, and always in a sincere place and for the highest good of all, not for selfish reasons, then I've certainly experienced that we can manifest these things, including prosperity, financially, all of these things. So working with the fairies with this deck has been super fun, because like when I work with fairies, I meditate, I tune in, I'll go out into nature as well and just receive the messages, the inspirations, and then let it all filter through the filter of my heart, basically, and see what comes out. So it's definitely a co-creation. They inspire me, and then it comes through my human filter, and then what's come out, what's been born, is manifesting with the fairies, the deck. I'm so excited that it's out into the world now.
Yes, it's so beautiful, and I really love the messages and the colors. is really what like makes me happy when I see it. And your readings that you have on social media like Instagram and on TikTok as well are so great. I would recommend everyone to check that out, because if you at least want like a positive and nice energy just from you, just listening to you and getting these messages, and you're channeling the fairies, it's really so much that we gain from that. So thank you for doing that.
Oh,
It's so
you're so
beautiful.
welcome. It gives me energy too, being able to share and knowing that it is being appreciated by people, because at the beginning of doing these videos, from my other decks as well, I was just putting it out because it was just pouring forth from me. And I didn't really know if you don't know if people really want to see it or if they're enjoying it, but the volume of messages and emails and comments that I get just saying how they look forward to it because it does uplift them, then I feel like, well, then my job is done, because if people are feeling uplifted by what I'm doing, then it's confirmation that I'm on my right path. It's beautiful to have that reflection back again, so it uplifts me as well, making them and just putting out fun, light-hearted stuff into the world. But also the messages do have deeper meanings too. It's not all kind of fluffy, as you say, not as you say, as one might say, airy fairy or fluffy stuff. There is a light element to it, but there's also a very deep element to it as well.
Definitely. And like you said, it's the manifestation of the inner things are so important, because you can be surrounded by all the material things but not feel that, you know, that sense of calmness or peace, or the inner world is so important because we're in it all the time. That's like our inner state. So I really love that. And how did the process, because we have, for those that want to like learn more about the fairy realm, many people might not have connected to it, or many people might have who are listening, but we have another episode more about that whole like foundational. But in now with, and I joined your workshop, which was connected to this theme of manifesting. In your life, how can we, because we have the different realms, and today I was talking about angels as well, and how does that differ? Because if we're working with these different frequencies, like how does the manifesting with the fairies and that energy, how is that in its own cat, or how, like it's different, and I don't know
Yeah,
if I, express it.
yeah. I know, I feel what you're
Yeah.
saying. And it's a good question, because we manifesting is everywhere, isn't it, right now? Manifesting, law of attraction, all of these things, which are empowering techniques, many different ones. There's no right and wrong, it's just whatever you feel drawn to. And basically the whole premise is that we are co-creating our lives in harmony with other beings, or just with the not just the universe, but with the universe, or angels, or fairies in my case. And what I love about manifesting with fairies is it just brings in this different extra magical element, and it's usually fun, and it's like you're really fully opening to the magic of life, to the magic of existence itself, because fairies are magical beings. And when we invite them in to co-create with us, yes, they can be mischievous, and it is about setting out your right intentions of the vibration that you want to attract. And I'm fortunate, I feel very blessed to have connected with a beautiful flock of fairies, if you like, who are supporting me in the work that I'm doing. And they're very excited about humans acknowledging them and wanting to work with them too. And like I said earlier, they're not genies. We can't just like say, I want this and I want this now. It's, if we say, for example, I really need a new home, or they might, but I don't have the money for that, or whatever our situation is, they will, if we ask them, they will inspire us. So it could be like, okay, then this opportunity is coming up where you could earn the money to pay your rent, or whatever it might be, or if you're feeling low and you just want more joy in your life, and then they'll put these situations and inspire you so that you're moving more towards joy and putting you in that vibration. So it just adds a little bit of extra magic into life, basically. Sorry, my computer's wobbling around here. I think I'm not going to blame the fairies, because it's actually me touching the computer. And it is about that extra element of magic, joy, a sprinkling of metaphorical fairy dust over whatever we're trying to bring into our world.
And I think it's so interesting to see how, because if you look into them, like the stories and mythologies, it's also connected to the earthly so much, and this like nature is. Do you feel like it's important when connecting to this realm to be also connected to nature and the elements, or is it
Yes.
as
Yeah, basically you can't connect to fairies without having that connection to nature and the elements, because it's there's no separation really. So even if you're not consciously connecting into nature, you are by the fact that you're connecting in with fairies. So it would make sense to really connect into nature to further establish, or to initially establish a connection with the fairies. So being in nature, I always say, is the number one thing. If you're able to, not everybody is able to get out into nature. Many of us are. We're blessed to have that ability to do that, and to be out in nature and really connect with the trees, the plants, the flowers, whatever is there. There are fairies or fairy beings, and you can call them, they've got many different names. So for ease, we'll just call them fairy to describe the whole range of earth nature spirits, if you like. They are with every single living thing that is growing in nature. So by being in nature, we are by proxy connecting with them. So if we do that first, I would always advise to do that first. And if you're not able to get out into nature, then you could have a house plant. There will be a fairy being, a spirit with that plant. Or if you don't have a plant, then you can look online and see YouTube videos of nature and just put your mind and your imagination there. You can connect in that way. But the best way really is to be physically out in nature, if at all possible.
I love that. My house is filled with plants, so I think it's a lot of activities here, especially in the living room and kitchen. And it's really interesting because it hits me also when I wanted to ask you, like, what is your experience of then the spirit of the plants and the fairies? How is that connected? Because all living things have a spirit, and that's like ancient knowledge. How is that connected, and how was it so that this frequency decided to be, or was decided to be, part of nature? Like, what was that source of it? Have you got that insight?
Okay, well, that last question is a little bit harder for me to answer, but I will say that everything has the divine. Every living thing has a spark of the divine, including ourselves, obviously, every spirit. And we could liken it to, people say, or they know, that everybody has their own guardian angel as well. So you could say every living thing has its own equivalent of that. So it's not a guardian angel, it's a fairy spirit, or there are many different names for it, that will guard, guide, and look over that particular living thing. Now, there are, trying to find the words now. So there are many different ways that we can tune into this energy. So if, for example, you want to call on your own angel guidance, and we do have fairy guides too, not everybody has a fairy guide, but everyone pretty much has an angelic guide. So we know they're a part of the divine. It's like they're sent from the source, the creator, the creatress, whatever name you want to give that, to look after us humans. And with the fairies and the plants and the trees, it's the same. So I can't answer from the point of view of the perspective of the source, although I do have that source within me. It just is something that I've experienced, so that's what I share and teach about as well.
Yeah, that's beautiful insights. And I'm also curious, since you've worked with different, how do you feel that the connection, because are they the fairies are, since it's also manifesting with the fairies, it's so connected to different energy states, because the different messages that you've channeled is like connected to different, even it could be different levels of our energy body, our physical body, other things. And how would you say that there's a more specific things that they are, is it like great for the emotional body, for our mind, or when we're connecting, or is it all, like, are they also tapping in on different like layers as well?
Yeah, definitely different layers, and it really does depend on your own vibration as to which vibration of fairy energy you will attract or work with. So that the more layers to you there are, then you will attract a fairy being that will also understand that and be able to work with you on all of those different layers and levels. The deck is suitable, the way I've written the deck, it's suitable for people that, what's a fairy? What are oracle cards? Like they're just complete beginners, and it's a very gentle way of introducing this way of being, this way of manifesting and connecting with the fairies. It's very beautiful. And for those people who are already having a connection with fairies or other spiritual beings, and they're thinking, oh, I do manifesting, perhaps I could try with the fairies just for some extra fairy dust and fun. And just see what happens. And or it could be for somebody who, you know, I really need these qualities in my life of more joy and happiness and all of these things, and it will definitely help for that. And also healing and health and vitality, so they can help on all of those levels. Although I do always say, if you're really needing to work on a deep healing, then always call in the angels as well, so the fairies and angels can work in harmony for the purpose of healing and other things as well.
Yeah, that's actually great advice. And for the cards, I want to, are they, so is it, can you tell us more about the oracle cards? Like, how are they divided into themes, or is it like different messages? And how would you advise people to work with it for themselves and for others?
Yeah, so they're not particularly divided into themes. They're just I'll show you a few of them. These are all images, and the message on the cards, the words on the cards have just been given in meditation, basically. And then I would see this whole thing, like, for example, we've got the compassion card here, and I just get this vision, and then I try to write it down and share it with the artist, who is Jane Delaford Taylor, who's done the most incredible job of manifesting these visions into reality. And she hand paints them in oil on canvas as well, which is really beautiful. And it's because the detail, when you work with fairies, there is so much detail in it. It's not just a figure doing a certain pose, it's the whole thing. So many of the cards, there's a few cards where there is just little symbols and little rune symbols and items in the card that are all relevant for that message. And there also are some similarities with the tarot. For example, I've got a strength card in here, and she's sitting on a lion, and the lion is in a tarot deck, and it does symbolize that strength. So there are little bits of crossover that's come in, and I just really like that. So for people that work with the tarot, they will recognize a few of the symbols within the cards, but these are not tarot cards, they're oracle cards, and then they're designed to be used in a different way. So Anybody can use them. It doesn't matter whether you're experienced or a complete beginner. You will find, you will come in at the level that is right to you, and the cards will speak to you on the level that you will understand. So it's simple, but also you can go deeper if you want to.
I love that. And we're beginning a new year now, and maybe it would be nice to have a card for all of us, and a message to think about coming into the new year. That would be amazing from you.
Okay, I'm always happy to pull cards. It's just what I do. I love it. And I love seeing what comes out and just the magical messages. And I'll just show you the back quickly. So on the back, if you can see, there are four wands coming in.
Yeah.
4 fairy wands. And somebody said to me that this looks like a kiss.
Yeah, it does.
Like a kiss of light, because it's light in the middle. But it wasn't, I didn't think of that when I described what I wanted. I just knew that I wanted the 4 fairy wands on the back, like with this power of energy coming out. So I really love it.
Love
yeah, Jane has done such a beautiful job, and she's worked with other artists with Hay House as well. She's worked with Diana Cooper, I know, and done some of her angel decks. But I knew that Jane did fairy work. Back in 2007, she contacted me through my fairy magazine, and she sent me some of her work. So it was really nice to finally be working with her with some of the work, because she's not really known for her fairy work. So it was just really lovely to do that. Right, let's concentrate. A reading for a card for the collective, please, fairies. And I will concentrate, and that's the one. Oh, that's, I love this, empowerment.
Wow.
You see her.
So beautiful, super fairy.
Superhero, fairy queen or king or person or being, a superhero being, let's say that. So anybody who's watching, whether you relate to being feminine or masculine, it doesn't matter. This encompasses it all. And it's basically, empowerment is about being your own superhero. So we don't have to wait to be rescued by someone else. We can rescue ourselves. It doesn't mean that we don't sometimes need the support of others and need to delegate, ask for help, etc. But all of those resources are within us. They're all within us, and we can call on this. It's like the vision that's coming to mind is the strength of a mother. If her child needs help, she can lift up a car with one hand, you know, and it's just really, really, a really, really beautiful thing.
I love it. It's so beautiful. Thank you for pulling that for us. And I think that's a very, it is, feels good to have that message for all of us, because then we can do great stuff for ourselves and for others, and we need it, right?
Yeah, we definitely do. And I just love, like, you probably can't see the detail, but on her little boot, she's got little wings on her boots as well. Like, she's a proper superhero fairy. And we all have that. We all have that within us. And it's just, well, the card is empowerment. So even that vision is quite empowering to think, yeah, I can be that. I can do that. I can be my own superhero. And I think you could meditate on that and really, really let it marinate within and think, yeah, because we always feel like we're very, very dependent on others, and we do need other people sometimes, but to know that we can call on that strength within ourselves is a superpower. It really, really is. So to know that fully and fully embrace it and feel fully empowered is such a great gift for all of us.
So important.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm gonna put all of your links in the show notes, and they can find, is there any, I think we have to definitely share what you're doing, and what type of work you're sharing now, upcoming as well. Yeah.
So on Christmas Day, I'm always doing readings and shows and collaborations, but on Christmas Day, I did it last year. I did an hour, but it actually went on for about 1.5, 2 hours. I did some readings online so that people that are on their own maybe and just don't have a huge family or anyone to celebrate with, I wanted to give that time to share with others, and just doing little readings and chatting and just being together in a sacred virtual circle online. It was just really nice, and it went quite deep last year. Actually, it was a few of us gathered, and I was quite surprised at the amount of people that wanted to join. So I'm doing that again this year, but this time there will be, you can come for free. If somebody can't afford it, then they can come for free, but I'm doing it by donation, and I'm doing it in aid of the Refuge charity in the UK, which is for domestic violence, people who have suffered from domestic violence, their children, usually mothers and their children, and it's to support them, and it's a really, really wonderful charity. And there is a lot of domestic abuse that goes on all around the world, not just in the UK, but because I live in the UK, I'm choosing to support this charity with their blessing. I've obviously already spoken to them about it, and anybody that wants to join, and even if you can't join but you want to donate, I'll give you the link so that people can make a donation, and then 100% all of the money taken for this event will go to the Refuge charity, and it will just mean that you are supporting a really, really wonderful cause, because we're very, very blessed to feel safe in our own homes with our children, and that isn't the case for a lot of people. So it's about just giving something back, just a little bit, and especially for me on Christmas Day, sharing that, because I just think it's nothing for me to give up an hour of my time on Christmas Day, although I say an hour, it always goes on a bit longer, and just share and connect with people and uplift them. I think it's important.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for doing that. And I'll definitely share about that as well. And everyone can find Karen on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I love everything
Everywhere.
everywhere, a lot of beautiful videos, and your website, and then the Manifesting with the Fairies is out everywhere as well. So I recommend checking that out. And thank you so much, Karen, for being here again.
Oh, thank you
So
so much.
grateful.
I'm so blessed to be chatting with you, and it always goes by so quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And just to
it
share
does.
with you and everyone. And I hope we can meet in person again soon.
We will, I'm sure.
Thank
Thank you so much, Karen.
you.
Thank you.